Fuego!
All right, welcome back. We're here for stream 3, book 3 of the Dresden Files, Grave Peril. Boy, oh boy, man, I forgot how good this book was. Grave Peril is great. So much stuff happens. It kicks off so many things in the greater Dresden Files world. We're gonna try and do a little non-spoiler bit before we get into spoilers, but it's really hard because there's a lot to talk about in this book, a ton to talk about in this book. But yeah, so Nate, I guess we'll start with you. Overall feelings and about Grave Peril, and just anything you want to say non-spoilish at this point.
Well, I mean, this one is just freaking awesome. It's the previous two books were great starts to a series, and then this one all of a sudden just goes high octane, start to finish, and doesn't let go. Everything it just grips you throughout the whole ride, with just absolute action pack stuff and absolute consequence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very good. Well said. Very true. Aldan, what about you, man?
Yeah, I love this way more this time around than any other time around. I don't even remember thinking about this book that much previously on other reads, but yeah, this was really really good. The things that we get introduced to, like building out the world a bit more, the getting more from Leah, having a look at the Never Never and how that sort of operates. The we get a lot of information, but it's never delivered in like a dumpy way in this book.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
which is a pretty good testament. Again, Butcher's really good at that. In fact, I think that's pretty true for the entire series, really. But like, you never really feel like he's telling you at all. He just got a really good way of introducing new elements without it feeling like you're in a lecture at any point in
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
this book's really where that starts, I think, where we really start to get into the mechanics of what he's trying to build out. And yeah, it was a great ride, man. Like it was an awesome ride.
Yep.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, man. So me too. Like I think one of the best parts about this book, at least for me, is not only is it just it feels like it's nonstop. You mentioned it's not like we get a lot of information, but in an organic way, things are happening, and we're getting that information. We're not just like stopping and saying, "Okay, information dump." But I think one of the big things, and we like you said, we get a little peek at the Never Never, but it's very tiny. It's a very, very tiny peak, but it's enough to get you curious what the hell's going on in there. I think a lot of what happens in this book expands the world quite a bit because you have, the introduction of the vampire courts, you have the Never Never aspect, You have the White Council is in there a little bit. It's mentioned. There's not too much interaction with the White Court, but the White Court is mentioned, and they're a piece on the board that is obviously formidable. You get, there's even a dragon. So like, it's and that I think is one of the best parts of this book too, is we are introduced to some very major players in this series. Some major characters: Michael Carpenter, Thomas Wraith.
Starts off with Michael. How can you possibly go wrong?
Two huge, gigantic characters in this world, and you get a little. Yeah, you get some of the Lananchi. You get Bianca stuff. You get to learn about the Red Court a bit, and a little bit more about vampires themselves and how they work. Right. So there's a lot going on in this book, and in a good way. You don't feel lost. You just feel like you're just getting what you need to understand what's happening, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also like immediate. It's an immediate like arc close. Like he like with Bianca, like for consequences for previous interaction. Which was it, book 1 or book 2, when Harry busted into her club and like pissed her off and got her true self out and all that sort of stuff. Was that book 1? Or
Bianca,
book 2?
that was book 1.
Yeah, book 1.
Yeah,
So from book 1. So
yeah,
we've already got we're already seeing consequences for some of Harry's actions, right? From you being
because her favorite chick was one of the ones that got killed by by the dude, right?
Yeah, but that's not the reason that this book happens. The reason that the events of this book transpire the way that they do is purely because of pride, effectively. Like, because Harry's made her, back in book 1, made her expose like her true self, expose what she really was, and she just can't get over it.
It's mostly that. I think her favorite pet being killed too is there, but it's mostly you saw me, you made me you saw me in a way nobody has seen me, so I now need to kill you because I don't want people in the world that have seen me that way, right? So but I what did you have something to say, Nate? Sorry.
Oh no, I was in agreement with all of that. That was this book is so freaking good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I feel like I don't want to miss anything as we're going over it, but like there's so much happens. I mean, we start right with a bang. I mean, you're so I guess when it comes down to it, we all liked it. It was very good.
Love it.
The characters are great. The world building is phenomenal. The world gets exponentially bigger and more interesting with this book. And I think it's definitely, we'll talk about if ratings the best we can at the end, but I think it's definitely the best of the first 3.
It is.
And we'll see where it stands when it comes to later in the books, because this is a really good one, right? It's really good. So
I think it's going to absolutely hold up. I think the best thing, like, out of this whole thing is just in this book, like, you saw stakes in the first 2. Harry definitely had some stuff going on with the first 2 books. This one, the stakes are legit, and
like you said, consequences.
Right.
All around.
There's that's the one thing I think that Butcher's really consistent on, is that he has things that hit and they last on Harry and on the ones that Harry loves, and the scenarios that it impacts them in, it does it in real ways. I mean, having just read another one of these later ones for the first time, with Small Favor, this is stuff that happens in book 4 or 5 comes into play in Small Favor, which is book 10, and gives the characters legitimate concerns.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So it also encourages you to keep paying attention to what's going on, because those people or those actions are going to have effects later in the series. So I think that's probably a good summing up without getting into the details. I think it's a great book. I think it definitely encourages you to move forward and drives you to want to know more about the world. So,
Yeah, this is the one where you really like after you read after you read the first two, they're good books, like we've discussed them, right? But like
Yep.
if you once you get past the book 3, like you really just have to, you can't really stop. You really have to keep going. Like,
I
and you
think
get
this is
that
I think
real
this is the
sense
one that really makes you feel like something special is
is about to
happening.
happen. Yeah,
And
it is.
it sounds like by the narration, Marsters is
Yeah, he's getting
more he's getting more amped up through it. Actually, it's funny, he gets a little bit more amped up towards the end of the book too. Like you
Yep.
could tell he's sort of like getting into it. There's a lot more character acting in his voice rather than just reading. There's like, I think, serious acting happening on his part, so it's really entertaining.
For
The
real.
audiobook is phenomenal. Yeah.
It is phenomenal, and this is where you're right. This is where it starts to get phenomenal, Steve. Like this is where it begins in this book. Did we get like Bob's proper voice in this book, or is it the next one?
Yes, I think
Yeah, it's this one.
yeah, Bob's proper voice is I feel like it sort of went back and forth a little bit, but I'm pretty sure this was where it
It's where it starts to come out.
we
Anyway,
got Bob, actual Bob. I think.
Yeah.
I'm so used to hearing his voice
I know.
that
Yeah,
it's like I don't remember anything else, right?
I know. And I just read I almost finished the next one too, so it's a bit like I'm trying to remember when, because it's definitely there now.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely didn't. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to try and not get too mixed up. But
Yep.
yeah, so I guess with that we'll dive into the spoilers. Read this
Yep.
book if you haven't. It's definitely gonna it's definitely worth it, and it's gonna definitely want to make you continue to read the series. Getting into spoilers. So spoiler alert. Sorry if you don't want to be spoiled. Now is the time to depart. But we get going right away. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right away, we're introduced to the right hand of God, the fist of God, Michael
Yeah.
Carpenter, the OG best character ever created. Yeah. So and they're in trouble immediately, right? If I remember right.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They're on their way to Cook County Hospital to search out ghosts.
That's right. I almost
Well,
lost track of the whole ghost thing, but yeah.
well, they've been doing that for a while, right? Like this. So we come into this story
Yeah.
when there's some kind of disturbance that he mentions in the spiritual world, and the ghosts have been getting angsty. And yeah, we come into it we come into it with them on their way to Cook County to deal with something.
When you find out that they're friends, they've been they've done this type of stuff before, so they've counted on each other and they have each other's back. And Michael, in more ways than one, Michael being just this, literally the fist of God. Just it's just like whenever he, it's very interesting. You can like whenever Michael gets serious, which is most of the time, but he starts praying and invoking his God. I shouldn't say God powers, but his faith, invoking his faith. That's the best way to put it. And the fact that Harry acknowledges that like this hum of power starts emanating off Michael, it's wild. I love it too. I love it.
It's wild and very respectfully done, I think. Because
You couldn't have done it better.
No,
you couldn't have done you couldn't have done it more respectfully. And it's funny when you hear some sort of like Christians that'll badmouth Dresden. They clearly haven't read the books, because it is the most respectful way you could do a story like this in a secular world and introduce elements of faith. I don't think there's a better way I've ever seen it done anywhere ever.
I mean, it's great, right? It's just like, man, I'm gonna go to church, and man, like if I'm that, like, goddamn, right? I mean, just like,
and
Michael is
I
special
think
though. Michael is special, but go ahead. Sorry.
he is. Well, and this is like you were talking about. They've known each other for a long time, and he establishes that Butcher does so well in this chapter because they are having a discussion immediately about Susan, and he's asking her if he loves her. Has he told her? You
Yeah.
know, you need to get married. You know, make
Yeah.
it right before Jesus. You know,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
All while
But it
ghost
does
hunting as well, right? Yeah.
right. But it establishes the fact so well that they have this deep relationship as friends between the two of them because they're having that kind of conversation. And it's
Yeah,
not
correct.
a, hey, this is, you know, it's a great way to show, not tell type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell from the back and forth that they're right. It's not just a one-sided conversation. They're having a genuine back and forth. And you know they know each other very, very well. And it's like and
Mhm.
you find out that Michael has quite a bit of faith in Harry, even though he has his dark past. He deep down knows that Harry is a good person.
A good man, as he
Stakes
says.
his life on it very many
Yeah.
times, actually.
And consistently says it throughout the books
Yep.
too.
But yeah, so we what they fight the weird ghost that's trying to steal the babies, right? Is it steal the babies or
Yes,
just
Agatha.
She's
Agatha
trying.
Hagglethorne.
Harkness? Oh, sorry, not Harkness. Sorry. Um,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
she's trying to kill, isn't she? She's trying to stop them breathing or something
I
from
think
memory.
yeah, I think it's supposed. I'm not sure. Like I could. She's trying to. I don't know if she's
Yeah.
trying to stop them breathing or that's just a side effect of her touching them. But I thought the way I sort of interpreted it, and I could be wrong, was that she was trying to almost kill them so they would be with her in like her purgatory, so she would have babies to
Right.
take care of. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true, but that's how I sort of pictured it.
No,
Because
that's pretty
I think
accurate.
that's accurate. Bob gives us the backstory on Agatha, doesn't he? Or
yeah. I forget
Yeah,
exactly
later.
what it is, but yeah, it's a
oh, me
tragic
too.
backstory. Yeah.
Very super tragic backstory.
Yeah. And then but we
Yeah.
end up in this is one of the instances where we end up in the Never Never. Because it's the only way to take care of this and save the kid. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so
they jump to the Never Never to deal with it, and then they end up. Isn't Leah there? Is Leah there straight up with the trying to turn him into a wolf? Is that
not she ends up there because
at the
that's
end,
where
right?
Harry's like, we gotta be quick. We got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, because his godmother's
We gotta
looking
be
for him.
quick. And then all of a sudden it's like not even 5 minutes, and he hears the dogs barking, and you're like, okay. And Harry's like, oh shit, there's like, and then next thing you know, Leah's there with her two pets. And you learn about the deal that some of what the deal they made about basically Harry's made a deal with her to become hers, basically, right?
Yep.
With
Yep.
you know, and then at this point, what is that? No, I'm thinking later when Thomas and Michael hold the line. That's later in the book.
Oh, that's later.
Thomas ain't
Yeah.
Thomas ain't even here yet. So they managed
But is
to
that-
they
yeah, but
managed to
this
escape her. I forget how they escape her though.
So he has that bag of ghost dust,
Yep.
like
Which
blasting
is
dust or whatever,
it's
and
fine.
that he used on Agatha. And before they follow her in, it jumps to a flashback real quick with
Yeah.
Harry talking to Lydia, I think. Or no, he's talking with Susan. And then and then he talks with Lydia because Lydia basically wants protection from him, and he says that he gets deceived by her basically, as we find out later, but he ends up giving her his talisman and then tells her to go to the church where
Oh,
uh
this is the chickies helping, right? Or is this after?
right. Yeah.
Wait, so wait,
He
do we?
starts to help her.
I think that
So
This
happens.
is where she
that
she deceives him.
well, but that's
That
after.
happens.
Isn't that
That,
after they get out of the hospital? That's after they get out
yeah.
of the hospital, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, I'm
no,
pretty sure.
this is part of the flashback, because then at the end of the flashback, he gets a call over the radio from Bob saying that there's Agatha at the hospital. There's some real nasty stuff going on there, and they need to go. And
Oh,
then it
he's right.
flashes back
Yeah,
into the Never Never when they arrive.
Okay.
where
Yep.
we first meet Leah.
Okay.
My first
Okay. So yeah,
yeah.
so Lee and Lydia, it gets a little confusing, but Lydia's a person
Right.
that we're not really sure what's going on with her. Harry is hesitant to help her, but ends up deciding he gives her a talisman to protect her, and right, and then sends her to Father Foothill, to a church because churches have power, and they're they can protect people if depending on what's trying to get them, right. That's right.
Yep.
So then what from there? So what happens? So Murphy and Father. So from there, they I forget how the whole ghost fight goes. They
jump. Well,
yeah.
he has to pull it. He sees the Y thing, right? That's like
Oh,
that
the barb
barb.
thing. Yeah,
Barb.
So he
right. So
discovers the barb thing.
yeah, so he discovers that. Yeah, that's right. So there's like this thing in the ghost that's just like basically torturing / controlling it.
Yeah,
Something
like a
Harry's
barbed
never
wire
seen before. Yeah.
wrapped around
So,
its.
yeah, device of magical a magical device that Harry's never seen before.
Yeah, it's purely spirit. It's purely spiritual thing. Does he have to open his sight? I think he has to open his
Yeah,
sight.
I think he opens his sight to see it too. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I don't know
Maybe
that he
not
has
in
to in the
Yeah, he might
not
just
in the
be able to
Never
see it.
Never, but later he does when
Right.
with Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so he finds he pulls it out.
He pulls it out in the Never Never, right? That's how he gets rid
Yeah.
of her, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when Leah shows up with her puppies.
And then he throws the ghost dust. I get out just in time. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yep.
throws and escapes in the nick of time. Has avoided becoming a pet to a Never Never fairy of great power. Yeah. And then let's see here. So what happens at is this when Susan picks him up?
Yeah, Susan picks him up from the cop shop, right? Because they get arrested.
Oh, they end up they get arrested. That's right. They get arrested.
Yeah, they get arrested.
Yeah. Harry's always getting arrested. Holy crap.
Yeah. We meet Charity. Charity comes to pick Michael up.
That's right. Charity's evolution in this series is actually pretty interesting because Charity does not really like Harry.
She hates Harry.
She hates Harry at this point.
Yep.
And basically is just all over him going, if you hurt Michael, I'll fucking kill you. Basically, it's like holy shit.
As much as Michael loves Harry, she hates him. I would say she is the 100% counter, and they're married.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have such right from the bat. You can see like they're like right from these first scenes, like their relationship is so well displayed. Like the way that Michael and Charity interact and the respect, the disagreement that they clearly have about Harry and about what Michael's doing, the way that Michael handles bloody little pocket rocket going off at the hip is just incredibly well done. He's just so calm. He is perfect. It's great. It's perfect. There's never been a character, you're right, Steve. Like there's never really been like a character that's been like characterized so well and is so consistent across like every form that's exactly how that character would behave if that person existed as Michael Carpenter. It's so good.
Yeah, he's great. I love it. So let's see here. So okay, so when they're leaving, this is where I get like I'm trying to remember because again I'm having all kinds of problems here. Am I in? So from there, after we get bailed out, let's see. Is this when is attacked by vampires? Okay, is this when he gets attacked by the outside the hospital? He gets attacked.
So he's walking back home with Susan, and then the vampires show up, Kelly and Kyle
at his doorstep, right?
At his doorstep, yeah.
To give him the invitation.
That's
Yep.
right. To give him the invitation to the Red Court Ball or whatever it's called, the Red Court celebration.
Yep.
Red Court Vampire Party, right? So that's right.
Yeah.
He receives an invitation on behalf of the White to represent the White Council because
Yeah.
he's the only wizard in Chicago at the time or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what we
And-
that's what we find out, that he's the he's the representative for the White Council in this area, or
Right.
in this
Yeah.
now.
And
Yeah.
how
Now that he's no longer got the
consequential- yeah, and how consequential Susan's just being there to walk him home from the jail to witness this
Yeah.
is the catalyst for
Well, and also like Harry immediately knows that she's gonna want to go, and he's like, no, you're not fucking going. You have no idea. You have no idea. She's like, yeah, I do. I'm going. Like, and he's like, nah, Michael's going with me. It's like, well, we don't determine that until later, but
right.
he's like, I don't even know if I'm going.
He wasn't even going to go.
He didn't want to go, but it was one of those he was politically obligated because of the White Council thing. He's like, I don't really want to go. I might not go. You know.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. But yeah, so but
Yeah.
it's nice because they act exactly how you'd think they act. Susan, of course, wants to go. She's a reporter. This is a golden opportunity for her to get into the underground of some fucking seedy supernatural shit that would be great for an article for her. And Dresden knows straight up, this is a bad idea. You're not going. You think you know, but you don't really know, type deal, right?
Yeah. And their relationship is pretty serious. Like we get, their relationship is developed between last time we sort of saw them to now as well, and like they're clearly going on a path. We had Michael asking Harry about about him talking to her about her feelings, and then we get to see like their little mechanic here. It's really quite nice. It's quite sweet. It's good for Harry. He's happy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so at this point, so they go, the vampires fuck off, right? At this point, don't they?
Yeah,
or,
they do.
He goes to sleep, and
then he goes to he's off to the church to check on Lydia, and he finds out that she's not there, right?
I think Fort Hill.
Right.
Does Fort Hill ring him, or but he does. He goes to the church.
Does he call him?
Yeah. Michael wakes him at the house or at the apartment.
Right. Yep.
And then they head over to the church from there.
Okay. And then
Fort Hill. Yeah, and then Fort Hill, explains what's happened with the girl or whatever. Like he put her out the back to go to sleep or whatever. Yeah. And then the spiritual entities came, and he had never experienced anything like it, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to make that much progress trying to get into the church was actually quite eye-opening and scary for Dresden, because that shouldn't be able to happen. And then he gets attacked, right? So this is where he gets put into, or does he dream before they go to the church?
No.
So okay, so helping Murphy follow with the hunted. Okay, Dresden is attacked by vampires and sent into a necrotic sleep. So at some point here, I forget how the order of it.
That's later. That's later.
No. It's pretty early when the nightmare takes a chomp out of his belly.
Yeah,
but that's still later though. I mean, it's not. That happens in chapter 18.
Okay.
So, like at this point, now he goes to the con man Mortimer, and tries to figure out what's going on because of the ghost situation. He and Michael are still concentrating on that.
Yeah,
to figure out what's going on, because the barbed wire has him
pretty freaked out.
Yeah, and
that's right. That's
Bob
right.
Out too.
He's investigating the barbed wire, right? Yeah, there's a little bit of time between vampire. Yeah.
He's got the invitation. So he goes to he goes to Morty the con man.
Yeah, I forgot about Morty the spiritualist / con man, right?
Right.
Who basically
he gives Harry a book basically, and then gets the fuck out.
Right. He's like, yeah, there's too much spiritual bullshit going on. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
And then Murphy shows up, picks him up, and says, "Hey, we've got to go." And Mickey's in a bad way.
It's
Okay.
just where
So
just so
Yeah.
does
Mickey is part. Yeah. Okay. The cop is in fucked up. That's right. And they go to
Yep.
see the cop, and he's like just ripped his. He's just like in a terrible state. He's alive, but he's just. You can tell he's just something's going on, and that's when Harry finds the barbed wire thing in him. Right.
well, he
yeah,
opens his
he's
once he opens his third eye, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And then he carefully is able to remove it. Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
he removes it, and then it's once he gets it out of him, it gets like a life of its own sort of thing, and like tries to wrap itself around him or whatever. In the end, doesn't he throw it out the window, and it starts to kill him.
Shoots
Like,
it.
shoots it out the window and then fuegos it.
Yeah,
yeah,
he zaps it. Yeah, I do remember that. He ends up throwing it out the window. He zaps it to get rid of it, and he's pretty shaken up by it because he doesn't know what the hell is going on with the thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And like the scene leading up to it too, as he's going to the house, all these animals are mangled outside, and then
yeah.
when he uses the sight, the
True.
the
Yeah.
the sight of the barb and his relationship with Mickey, that combination kind of disturbs him more about the barbed wire than it did with Agatha, because that was a curiosity of what could sit there and handle ghosts like this.
What
Well,
could do this?
now it's both sides of the veil.
Yeah. It's manifesting itself in the real world, and
Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
right.
He's pretty scared by it because
He is.
Yeah.
he's never felt power like this too. Like when he pulls that barb out, it's this cold sort of cold dark power. The way that it describes it, like it's not like when Harry uses his magic, his power. It's like anti magic if you want or whatever, and that really
Right.
freaks him the fuck out.
Yeah. And when he tells Bob about it after this, it freaks Bob out. I mean, so when your spiritual skull encyclopedia creature
Yeah,
is is
he's
like, "Oh, what?" He's like, get out of here, Harry. Don't get involved in this stuff."
He did say that, didn't he? Like Bob, had a real
Harry, he was freaked out. He said,
don't go
"Harry,
near this.
don't." He's like, "No, you don't want to be involved."
You can
Right?
let
Yeah.
this.
It freaked the barbed wire thing freaked Bob out because he couldn't figure out what it was. He's like,
Yeah.
if I don't know what it is, like that's bad. Like I
Yeah.
know what everything is magically. It's right. So yeah, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and the only thing that he can think of at this point, he and Bob can think of, is that Harry needs to go find Lydia. And so he's got I think a little bit of
Yeah.
dried blood from Lydia, I think from the church, I think.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Or no, he uses it.
He
No,
uses
she's
the
got his
talisman.
talisman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a
uses.
tuning fork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank God for notes.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I'm working through like just so much happened. So because I
Yeah.
lost
So
track. Like
he
yeah.
does. He
So
chases
this
it, and that's when he goes. That's when he goes to find Lydia, and he uses the tuning fork to locate his ping in on his talisman like a GPS sort of thing.
right.
And he finds her in the van in that abandoned building or whatever.
Yep.
And she's just like drugged out. Really, she looks like
Yep.
she's it describes a heroin junkie at the end of the day.
Yep. And you find out it's the vampires that have nabbed her.
Then and then Kyle and what's the other girl's name? What's the girl's name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Kyle and Kelly turn
Well,
up.
and this is also where you get your first introduction to how bad vampire venom is, because Harry gets Harry has a very close call, right? This is where he gets his first close call and almost gets
he gets affected. Like he gets like they get the jump on him.
Well, they get the jump on him. That's one. But he didn't quite bite her, right? She didn't bite him, right?
Drooled on him.
She drooled on him.
She kissed him and drooled him and got vampire saliva all over him, which is very in this world, in the Dresden world, you find out vampire saliva is a very potent euphoric drug.
Yeah, It's a narcotic.
addictive. It's addictive. It's you know, you almost can't, well, not almost, you can't control yourself. You get incredibly high and addicted to it. Harry is actually quite he's able to not nullify, but you know,
He's able
with
to.
his training, he's able to sort of lessen the effect a little bit with mind control, with like
Well,
mental gymnastics.
yeah, he thinks I mean, he thinks he's doing it right, but then by the time he gets home, we realize pretty quickly that he's not as successful as what he thinks he is,
No. Yeah.
and
Right.
he's in a world of trouble, and he's try.
Yeah.
It gets real hazy here because it gets a bit hazy here because it's like he's in drugged out psychosis state at the end
Yeah.
of the day, and he makes the circuit. Gets his way down to the basement. Or does he pass out first? Actually, did he? I think Nathan.
Well, he ends up passing out, and this is where
Yeah.
the nightmare.
He's
He
doing a
has the
nightmare.
bad nightmare of Kravos.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the demon, right? And he's fighting him,
Yeah.
and he's like, he has a flashback basically of the night that they went after him, and
Except
in the middle of it, all the events change, and Harry's like, I'm in a dream. This is not how this shit went.
Yeah.
And you know, when you realize you're in a dream, you know, you're able to usually control that dream, but in this case, he's just not in any shape to do that, and the nightmare ends up taking a big chomp out of his stomach, which we find out is actually in a dream. He ate part of his magical ability, right? Is that basically it, right?
I took a big
because
chunk.
and the dream scares him, that one, but also in the dream he sees Kravos just absolutely viciously destroy Murphy, Michael, and Mickey Malone, and so he now knows that there's a relationship here with this ghost issue,
Right.
and
Yep.
so now that freaks him out, and then
Yeah, he knows there's a
what
link,
is
but
it?
he doesn't. He knows there's a link, but he also knows that Kravos was a 2-bit sorcerer. He doesn't really have the power to do something at this scale like this. So he knows that there's a connection, but he's not sure how it's coming about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so this encounter actually affects Harry for most of the rest of the book because he is he's basically depowered. He's not nearly as he has trouble turning on, he actually using his flickumbicus thing to turn on his lights, which is a very simple spell for him.
Yep.
And he's really not only freaked out but pissed off because now he knows that whoever is doing this to him has stolen a portion of his power and is going to use it to hurt people, which is, you know, one of the things that Harry does not condone, hurting people, especially his response. So he takes immediate responsibility, even though I don't really.
He shouldn't. Yeah,
He
that's a
takes
bit of that.
responsibility for something that's not really out of his control, but you know,
There's a fair.
uh,
He does that a bit in this book actually. And it's a character. It's a character flaw. He's like
Yep.
that. He takes on. He's wrong about some of these things that he takes responsibility for. Like a lot of it's not his
Yes.
fault, but he wears it like a badge. He really takes it on board hard.
he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Right.
Let's
So
see.
he immediately goes to the police station because he knows that Murphy's next.
That's
Yeah.
right. So he figures out that what's happening
Well,
here
first of all,
is
we have to-
people that were involved in the arresting and disposal of Kravos are the targets,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Sorry, what were you
and he
gonna say,
has. Well, after he gets out of his dream. I can't actually. I think that I can't remember how he gets out of his dream exactly, but like he's in his bathroom or whatever. He kind of comes back to himself.
I think it just wakes up after being devoured.
No,
Like
there's-
after,
there's-
I think
There was
it just
something that
wakes up.
happened. I think it might have been the cat actually. Mister might have knocked him over or jumped on his head. or something.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think Mister hit him or something. Yeah.
And then he like stumbles down to his basement, builds a circle to try and protect himself from
Right.
that happening, whatever, so he can get some headspace. And Bob is down there. Bob is like, I tried to help you, but I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like this is real. This is real bad, Harry.
This is real bad. Yeah.
Real bad. Yeah, and then he goes to Murphy, correct? 'Cause he's like, this. She's in danger.
Yeah,
Um,
and he's
when-
too late because he calls her, and she's like, "Listen, you just called me 5 minutes ago. Would you, you're telling me
well,
you're going to be late?
well, real quick, he makes a quick determination. Do I go for Michael or do I go for Murphy? And he goes,
Yeah.
Michael knows somewhat of what he's up against here. Michael has the better
Yeah.
chance against this thing than Murphy does. Murphy does not have any fucking clue what's coming
No.
from her. I gotta help her. Michael at least
Yep.
can defend himself and knows what he's
Yeah,
knows somewhat about what he's dealing with, right? So he makes a conscious decision, even though
Yep,
Michael's his friend. Well, they're both his friend, but Murphy needs more help, so he goes to her first.
mhm.
Yeah.
Too late.
And-
Too late. Yeah,
and-
because the nightmare has taken his not only his power but his look, right?
Yeah,
Right.
which it can manifest itself in the daytime into a human being looking thing, right?
Right.
Like they can
Yeah.
get through the police station into Murphy's office without anyone questioning it.
Yep. So he
Yep.
basically makes a Dresden doppelganger and that's able to fool everybody. And by the time he gets there, Murphy is fucked up.
Yeah, she's completely catatonic.
Yep. And
Well, he gets there.
he gets
That scene. We've got to talk about that scene. Like when Dresden opens the door to Murphy's office, and Murphy's at her desk with the nightmare standing
Yep.
behind her
with the fingers in her head. Yep.
fingers on her head like this.
Yeah.
And just, like the way that he describes
Well,
it.
his
Like
fingers are in her temples, right? Like
her head.
like knuckle deep in the temples.
yeah.
It's like, what the
Yep.
fuck, bro? Right?
and it just looks up at him as he comes in and just smiles or what? Like, oh,
yeah,
it's
freaky, very freaky.
Freaky shit.
Yeah.
And so he's able to get the nightmare out of there, but Murphy is in a bad state. So
Yeah, and
Well,
how does he get?
I don't think he doesn't get the nightmare out of there. The nightmare
That makes
just basically he tries to use his magic, but he's
he
like,
just leaves, right?
Harry, yeah, he just leaves. But he leaves Harry in this state where, the nightmare is going to go on, but Harry still has to do something about Murphy, so the nightmare
Yeah,
can
they're
leave
not-
without worrying about Harry. But
Yeah,
he
the
scares the
nightmare-
shit out of Harry.
And he uses his power, doesn't he? Like Harry tries to use his power, and the nightmare just goes, "That's and just uses Harry's
Oh,
power
shit.
back against him." Which I don't
Can
think
you
is
guys?
actually-
I need to pause for a second. Sorry, I totally forgot my daughter needed to be picked up. I'm gonna see if my dad can do it real quick. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, this is so damn good. like
Yeah,
sitting
dude,
here just talking about it, it's like, dude.
I know all of this stuff is not even it's not even the major plot. It's not even the main stuff that happens in the book. We haven't even got to the parts of the book that are that I remembered before we started this conversation.
Yeah, well, and the thing is too, the stuff with the vampires and then the stuff with Kravos are consistently and they never intersect in terms of any relationship to each other. The only relationship that those things have is Harry. So it comes in at the end. I mean, it's fantastic.
All the things that have happened so far are all the things that I didn't even think about before. I was saying to Nathan before, these are all the things that I didn't even think about, or didn't even remember, of happening in the book. We haven't even started talking about the stuff
because the ending of the book is so crazy, right? Like
That's what I
so much
mean.
happens in the second half of the book. It's fucking nutso, right? So yeah, so I'll
Right.
be I lost track of all this stuff too. Like I'm having trouble recalling it because
Well,
the freaking Red Court ball masquerade is fucking nuts.
We haven't even got there yet.
Yeah, we're close.
right, well,
We're close.
we're about to, but this is really where it starts to go nuts.
Okay.
Right after Murphy's kind of
After the
taken out of the picture, now he goes to the Carpenters because he needs to make sure Michael's okay.
Yeah,
and Michael's fine. Charity's got the kids upstairs, or does she? And he finds a note saying that she went to go get, I think, some ice cream or something because she's pregnant.
I totally lost track of this whole scene where Michael goes full on devil.
Bro, what? It's so cool. What? As soon as Michael realizes Charity's in danger. He's in that they go to the department store, do that, or the milk bar or something. I don't know
Yep.
what you guys call it.
Yeah.
Dude,
And he's like ripping through the place.
you can feel the pure panic in Michael Carpenter that Charity is not where she thought she was. It's like, yeah, we're fine. It's just like, what? She's not here. And it like goes from like, oh, we're safe to,
we're not.
oh, fucking
Right.
no, not Charity.
And again, Harry is is behind the guy. Basically, you know, he's 2 steps behind the
nightmare.
Kravos.
Yeah, we don't know.
And
he doesn't know it's
we
Kravos.
don't we don't know it's him yet.
Right.
But they get to the department store or the drugstore, whatever, the grocery store, and Michael goes off searching for her. Harry asks the attendant, "Hey, have you seen a guy that looks like me?" And he's like, "Yeah, they just went out to the parking lot." And so then Harry goes out and he looks out past the parking lot into the graveyard, and he sees Charity being taken to the graveyard by himself. And he's now has to say, well, nope, I got to go get her. I don't have time to go back and get Michael.
The graveyard. Yep.
I'm going to the graveyard.
Dude, the graveyard scene is so tense, man. The graveyard scene is so tense, man. And I thought for sure, like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought Charity was going to lose the baby.
Oh, it's amazing that she doesn't lose the baby.
I thought like, but like, it's one of those things. I also think that the whole Michael's faith and like God is literally looking out for the Carpenters. Like not. It's not even like I'm not even like being like God. Exactly. God, the Carpenter family is like a loved God. Yeah, God is embraced by God. Like we're talking God, right? Like, I mean.
Yeah.
Like I know it's later in the series, but one of my favorite things about the Carpenters is that like they have angels guarding their house.
Yeah, it's amazing.
24/7. It's freaking unreal. But sorry, but so like what? So where Harry tracks her down, and the the nightmare at this point is it's Auntie Harry is basically got an unconscious Charity, right?
Yeah. No, she's not unconscious. But he ends up confronting him, and or no, I think she is actually, she's like leaned up against a gravestone or something like that, or a tree or something like that, and anti-Harry is there, and he tries to fuego the nightmare, but anti-Harry reflects the fuego.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before, actually. He can't use his
he just, and Harry's frustrated because he's so weak. Yeah.
Oh wait, no. And then but when he does that, he's actually holding on to Charity, and then Charity kicks herself free. And then the nightmare grabs Harry.
Which actually tells you something about Charity too. Like just that little action of her not being meek, that she's fighting to get free. Gives you a little view into where you're going with Charity Carpenter too.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually like Charity Carpenter a lot, personally.
Man, she's no damsel in distress. In fact, Butcher, all of his female characters are like that. They've all got that fire.
That's why I don't get the pushback on him about like his
female people don't like
strong, capable, smart. They're all great.
I know, but they can't see past the fact that they're hot. Like if they're like super attractive and like,
is that really what it is? They're beautiful.
That is what it is. Yes, it's what it is. It is. Oh no, it's not that they're beautiful. It's that men notice that they're beautiful.
Right? Fuck yeah, they do. Fuck my god.
And here's the other thing that I can't stand about this is like they want to sit there and call out Butcher's descriptions through Harry of these women, and it's like, okay, you got to understand, Harry is in a life of absolute intensity, and that intensity carries on through every facet of his life. So when it comes to his libido, it's going to carry that same intensity, whether you like that or not. That's actually a very accurate description of how people, men especially, operate
and
because
be
men
fair,
are intense.
half the time
Yeah.
when he's in sexual situations, he's under some sort of spell or vampire saliva or something. Like not all the time, but like every
Right.
single scene with Lara Wraith, he's being low key
mind
mind
fucked.
control and
Right.
wanting to have sex, right? And he resists. It's like, oh man, I got this raging fucking wang, and it's the hottest person on the planet.
What
And I
else would
have
you
this
expect?
drug coursing through my veins that tells me to do it, but I'm not gonna do it. It's like, god damn, right? I mean, come on, whatever. Sorry,
Yeah.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
tangent there.
Harry has more self control than I do. That's for sure.
No, I think
Right.
it speaks for all of us. 2 seconds for a rate. Probably a second is too long. It'd be over.
It'd be over. End of the world. Whatever.
God, yeah, we lose.
Yeah. So the nightmare grabs him. I think he throws him because my notes get sketchy here, but he ends up seeing his godmother. Leah comes back into the picture.
Well, he does. He calls it like he calls her, doesn't he? Like he calls Leah because he needs help effectively.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he calls Leah, and Leah helps him basically. I mean, and then like we
Yeah, and which she
then
doesn't.
double crosses her again.
That's right.
But the
she's
funny
so-
thing is, I'm pretty sure where we end at in this book, she knows Harry enough that she knew all that. I think Leah
Yeah, she
pretty
knew
much
what was gonna
knew all this shit, like,
Yeah.
which just gives you a view of her too. She
it does.
she knew
This-
how
and it-
all this was going to go down. It went down exactly how she wanted to.
Yeah, and she got it, and she increased her hold on Harry without giving him anything. He already had everything that he needed. So to
In a
speak.
weird
Yeah.
way, you can by the end, you can actually see in her own fucked up way that she actually does care about
Yes.
Harry.
Yeah, I think so. In this book, do it? Yeah, I think we get that. sense.
By the end, I think it's like, is she
Yeah.
really playing with him? Does she really want him to be a dog? I don't know, because
You're not sure.
I'm not, sort of,
Yeah.
and later later, obviously, I'm not going to get into later, but
Good. I haven't. gotten to that right
I'm
either.
not sure. I'm not sure if it's like more playful banter, and she doesn't like. Yes, she wants him, and she wants to control him more fully, but like,
Well,
how
also,
much like is like? I think she likes
Yeah.
his free will. I mean, personally, but we're getting deeper into the series. Sorry.
also from her perspective at this point, he'd be very safe as one of her dogs. That's her perspective. Is like you can't get you're not in danger if you're one of my hounds.
Yep. Okay, so we end up overcoming the nightmare. He turns into ectoplasm after the Lananchi helps.
Well, the Lananchi
Wait, no. Dresden picks
Yeah.
up Amarachius. Oh God, I can't talk. Who wants to talk about Amarachius? Fucking Excaliburs. By the way,
Yeah.
Michael Carpenter is the wielder. He's fucking King Arthur, man. God damn it! Like,
the
I
fist
fucking
of
love
God
the
with
fact
Excalibur.
that
in there.
Excalibur is Loki in this book, in
Yes,
these
mate.
books. Well, and you haven't been to the place where they go to the place yet, have you, Nate? To get the
No,
thing.
he hasn't.
Place.
No. See, Aldan knows. Like, if you've read the series, if I say
know.
Harry went to the place
To get the
to
thing.
get the
No.
things in the place to do
Not
the
yet.
thing, you know what I'm talking about,
I know what
because
you're
it's
talking
huge.
Okay. So
He's
no,
not
I
there.
haven't.
So okay, so it involves Nicodemus, right? Yeah, it involves Nicodemus. So you got, I think you got 2 books before you get there in your current read, but just it grounds like those things that are spirit. It grounds everything too, like in the fact that Excalibur is like, it's it's not the sword of the stone, but it is.
But it is. Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's just it's right. It's just, you know what I mean. It's like it's grounded in reality. It's the magic sword grounded in you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, with the nails from the cross, embedded in the hilt or whatever, and that's not where the power comes from. But it's so well done. It's just crazy. And yeah, Harry picks it up, and does he try to use it? Or
Well, he tries to use it in a way that's counter to what it is. So like Amarachius is the sword of love, and he uses it in a way that betrays the intent of the sword, and so it immediately reacts counter.
I'm pretty sure
to
that's
what
how
he-
all the swords though are. If you
It is. You
use
can't
the
do
sword
math.
with ill intent, they lose their
right.
Yeah, it's got to
Because
be for divine
he
purpose.
made an oath. Yeah, he made a deal with Leah, picks up the sword and betrays the deal with Leah, and that's why the sword reacts the way that it does, causes him to drop it, and
exactly.
then Leah picks it up.
And I
Yep.
have to say, Michael Carpenter being the greatest man on planet Earth, is pretty forgiving of Harry
Right?
destroying
Losing his Excalibur.
Ambracius, the Excalibur, the legendary sword of legend. He's like, oh fuck you! What did you do, Harry? God damn it! And he's pretty destroyed, like, but he
I know that
doesn't.
he'd say that, Steve.
What's that? I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
I said I don't know that he'd say that.
I think he does drop his Michael's biggest curse word here, blood of my father.
Like
or
he
something.
is destroyed, but he pretty much lets him off
he
the
is.
hook.
Yeah.
I mean, he pretty much. I mean, low key is like he doesn't give him too much crap about it. Like it's like, how would you? It's like basically, didn't he say
Michael-
something like, "How would you have known?" or something like that, or like Harry's
Something like that.
destroyed.
Michael embodies grace.
He does.
You know that's really what Michael's role is in his relationship with Harry, and Harry's relationship to God. Is Michael is the conduit of grace.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah,
And
so it's pretty
it's
awesome.
Yeah.
it is.
So Harry defiles the blade.
Defiles
and,
the blade. Leah steals it.
Leah takes it. Normally, it's normally not something they can touch because it's a holy blade, and them being unholy creatures. I guess I don't know if all fairy, but they can't touch it for whatever reason.
But they know what it is. Like they know the power of the artifact, and so it's extraordinarily valuable in the supernatural world. And I guess we see that here, like that. There's like it's not just like a religious, like a religious thing that's maintains it has its place in the church type thing. This is like a supernatural power level thing.
I don't know what it is, but the faith elements of this series really are. I feel like they're really powerful. Like
They are powerful.
They really are. I don't know. It sounds. Look, this sounds, and I know, Nathan, you're a God-fearing man. I'm not saying I'm not, but I don't go to church. Makes me want to go to church.
Yeah.
I want to go pray to Caliber, the Amaracus. I mean, come on. I want to be Michael Carpenter. But
but what you're saying about the faith elements, you're right. It is that's touching on like what we're not, because I am a God-fearing man as well. The way that the faith element is like respected, and the way that it's integral to the plot as well is like it's extraordinary. Like it's you couldn't have done a better job of it while in the world of witches and witchcraft and wizardry and all this sort of stuff and the demonic and and the way it's just to have it portrayed as like the final bulwark against the most nasty things in the world. In Dresden's world, it just tells me. I mean, Butcher clearly he understands. He understands it. He understands it.
Yeah.
All right. So So Dresden. So I'm trying to sort of go through here. If we missed something, that's basically Dresden goes to Chicago PD is the next note on this. So he goes to try and get Kravis's notebook. Is that the?
Yes.
I don't know if that's specifically after, but he talks to Chicago PD and tries to get the notebook so he can find out the name of the demon, because at this point he's surmised that it's the ghost of a demon that he thinks is what's haunting it, which is something also Bob has never heard of before, right? Is that correct? Bob's like, a demon ghost? I guess technically it's possible, but he's never heard of it, right? Is that?
And he thinks this because he's working out in his, like, as he's trying to figure this out, he's like, okay, it's related to the Kravos nab when we jag Kravos and took him down. And so that's what he thinks it is that when he killed that demon, that it like created a ghost at the same time, and that's what's coming after him. That's what he thinks now.
That's what he thinks. So he's trying to get the book to get the demon's name so he can
Banish it.
basically control it, banish it, control it, whatever. When names have power, which is cool. I think that's a very cool line, a cool idea that names have power, and if you have the name of somebody and you invoke the spell correctly, you can exude your own power over those beings, right? So that's a very cool thing that happens many times in this series. So he goes there to get it. He ends up getting it. And then he
gets it because Stallings because he doesn't get it straight away. Like he goes into he talks to Stallings, he talks to Rudolph. Does he talk to Rudolph? I think Rudolph just tells him to get fucked.
I think it's Stallings.
Yeah,
and so Rudy's there. I think Rudy's there being a bitch.
And Stallings knows. So Stallings, Rudolph's there being a bitch, and Stallings knows like the way Harry gets it. When he took, because it's evidence, he can't just let it go. And Stallings is like, you can't get the book.
And on top of that, we don't know yet. But on top of that, there's some other weird shit going on with the Kravos stuff.
Yeah. There's background investigations that I haven't told Harry about.
The Kravos situation still seems to be in flux, and they haven't told Harry. And we don't know what's going on, other than Stallings is very hesitant to give him the book. He's like, you can't tell anybody I gave this to you, or I'm gonna be in deep fucking shit.
Yeah, he says you can't have this book. So like he's like, it's not.
He tells him to destroy it, right? He's like, when you're done with it, get rid of it because you can't have it.
Yeah. He says, is it gonna help? Is it gonna help Murphy? Because Harry, the way that Harry helped her, which I think, and I'm not sure we mentioned, but like Harry puts her into like a coma. He puts like a sleep spell on her to stop her from.
We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, protect her from what the nightmare did when he was trying to put the bloody spike thing down Murphy's back. So Harry puts her into a coma, and so she's asleep. She's out of the picture now, and Stallings knows that she's in a coma because he was there or whatever, and so he saw this. He saw what happened, and so that's the only way that Harry can get this book is because so Stallings is starting to get on his side. He's starting to get these relationships in the police department, which we're seeing now in this book.
Carmichael, it sucks we lost Carmichael because Carmichael seemed to be on board with Harry before he went out like a fucking Chad. But
yeah, so he's starting to get these relationships in the police department now, which is really cool for Harry. And he gets the book. Well, he doesn't get the book here. When does Stallings give him the book? Because Stallings says he's going to try. Does he?
Well, I think he asked. I think he asked for the book a while ago, and Stallings gives it to him there because this is in between. Charity gives birth, and the baby's hurt, and Charity's hurt, and he goes, "We'll get the book." Stallings, says, "I didn't give this to you, but here you go."
Oh yeah, I forgot. In the middle of all that, middle of all that, Charity's water broke. Yeah, in the
there's that at the graveyard. And the baby's
in the graveyard,
and the baby's also.
The baby's basically in the same state as I would say Murphy is.
Murphy, yeah, that's
basically alive but catatonic and not really alert, like crying or anything. Like it's alive but just sort of like on pause, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. So then Harry goes back to his place, draws a circle, and begins to summon the demon. In the middle of all of that, he keeps on getting interrupted, but he tells everybody to go to hell. And that includes a fateful phone call by Susan that he has to ignore.
Yep. Which consequences.
Yep. But he controls the demon because he names it.
He has to struggle getting it. He has a massive struggle getting it, and he's not sure why. Even though he uses the names 3 times, controlling it and holding on to it is way more of a struggle than he thought it was going to be, or that it should have been.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does control it, does he?
I think briefly, like very, very briefly, and then it's wrenched away from him.
Yes.
I think.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. because obviously there was some other individual that had control over it and ended up having the ultimate power.
So here it says,
And that's when he notices the cold power actually as well. Isn't that when it gets wrenched away?
yeah. When what it says here is when Dresden bound the nightmare to him, he felt the presence of the sorcerer controlling it. So
yeah, and it's that same cold sort of magic power that when he pulled the thing out of the ghost that he felt.
Yeah. And then he and Michael have to go to the ball.
Ball.
Here we go.
So yeah, this is when we're introduced. What's that?
When does he actually get rid of the? When does he actually get rid of the nightmare? He does that.
The nightmare that's in the middle of the ball, I think.
Yeah, in the middle of the ball.
No, it's after.
No, it's after when he's in prison, right? Yeah. Kravos is Kravos is taking a victory lap.
Yeah, that's right.
And I forgot exactly how he fucking does it, but how does
I remember. We'll talk about it when we get there. I remember.
I forgot exactly what he did, but he fucking.
I remember.
He fucks up.
I'll tell you. I'll remember. When we get there. We'll talk about. I remember that clear as day.
I know he eats it, right? He eats him in the nightmare, right, or something like that.
In the dream, when he figures it out,
he controls it. He knows it's in his dream, so he can control it better. Is that it? Something like that?
No, it's not that. He dies. He died.
That's so right. He dies, and Susan keeps him alive.
Yeah, so he can split himself into a ghost, and he can use his ghost.
He cheats. That's right. We'll get there. He uses conscious, self-conscious or what's subconscious Harry. That's it. He uses subconscious Harry to fucking cheat. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So on the way to the ball, he meets Thomas at the entrance, right?
Yep. Yeah, it is at the entrance.
They meet Thomas at the entrance. Thomas Wraith is one of my favorite characters. I love Thomas Wraith. He's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good. You're not really sure. You don't know what to think about Thomas initially, right? I mean, he's just another vampire, and you know how Harry feels about vampires, right? Yeah. So, but then we get a little. I feel like we get a brief introduction to, he's a white court vampire, which is much different than a red court vampire. Sex magic, baby. So he's also got Justine in tow, who I think isn't Harry immediately sort of irritated because he's just like he can tell that he's just feeding off of Justine. I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly that point, but Dresden's not very keen to vampires, right?
No, he hates the vampire. He hates vampires, and he does. Even though he does understand that Justine is, well, from his perspective, that she's being eaten, she's being eaten, and she's got no control over it. Even though she says she wants it, he's like, yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know. He's not about it at all. But he puts that up. He puts that to the side. He puts that to the side in the ball.
Well, it's interesting because he finds out later that Thomas is actually helping Justine because Justine's a mess.
That's exactly right. Yeah, she's a sex.
So not only is she he's feet. There's sort of it's almost a symbiotic relationship, right? Like
it is. Yeah.
He's feeding off of her, but she needs that. Otherwise, she'd be completely fucked.
Well, she's an nymphomaniac. Like that's what she is, and
isn't she sick too?
Yeah, she's mentally. Yeah. She's not well.
Yeah, she's So her it's a give yin and yang. He gets to feed off her, but she gets to have her faculties about her, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that means, and it's we don't. I guess we don't really know this yet, but he doesn't. He doesn't want to give into those base instincts of vampire.
We're not there yet. Thomas is cut from a much different cloth than all his brethren. So,
which you can see immediately, right? Like,
yeah,
immediately from the introduction, just the way that he is with Harry, like straight up.
Yeah, you can see he's different.
You can see he's different. Yeah.
So we managed to get into the vampire. So let's see here. So you find out that Thomas is the representative of the White Court, and of course, Dresden is brought in Michael. This is +1. It's a costume party, so of course, Dresden is dressed up as a stereotypical vampire with vampire teeth and a cape.
I love how he always wants to poke the biggest bear in the in the building.
He's just he's just clowning on all of them. It's fucking great.
Yep.
So
he meets the dragon. He meets a dragon here.
He meets the dragon. He has to talk about it. He realizes he's a dragon. He's like, "What the fuck? Oh my god! It's a fucking dragon, right?" And he also, so the interesting thing about the meeting with the dragon, he goes, "This thing could just do that and kill me." Like,
yeah. Except we also the fist of God. We find out the fist of God here, Dragon Slayer Michael. That's it.
Has already killed
also
one.
That's how powerful Michael can be, right? That Harry's description of this dragon is it's a being of such power that it could just crush Harry if it wanted to. Michael has killed a dragon.
Yep.
Michael fucking Carpenter.
Right.
Zach's fucking tournament was rigged. Michael should have won that shit. I mean, come on. He killed a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
True. Yep. Yeah. Well, and right before that, Kyle and Kelly made an appearance again. And in the middle of in the middle of talking with this dragon, Fario, he took a sip of wine or drank some wine that's been drugged.
Yes.
So he's in the middle of this starting this influence of this drug stupor in a conversation with this dragon.
He figures out he's been poisoned. Yeah, that there's vampire blood in the drink, and that they've been basically all of them have been poisoned. Yeah,
have been juiced.
And
he gets it. He gets it out, right?
He gets most of it out, but he doesn't get all of it. Doesn't get all of it, but he vomits to try and get as much out as he could.
And then Susan rocks up, right? And then the little Red Riding Hood suit.
Which, oh my
stupid girl!
Please,
you idiots said some other girls. Susan Rodriguez is #1. Okay, moving on.
So this is all everything that happens to her is completely her fault. By the way, let's just get that on the table. She's a moron. Harry tried
she's
to
an
warn
idiot.
her.
Like I love her, but she's an idiot. She is so stupid for being there. It is talk about just putting yourself. You are the sandwich.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You are the ribeye steak, and you know this.
Yeah.
Like Harry has told you this. You know this is. You do not want to be here. There's no hiding. So pretty much everything that pops off is her fault, which sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But she puts Harry in a horrible position.
Yeah, correct. And he doesn't see it that way.
No, not at all. He just loves her.
Not even for an instant. He's just like this is all my fault.
He immediately
not your fault.
Yeah, immediately thinks it's his fault for not answering the phone. It's like, Harry, you warned her. She should not. She should fucking look. I love Susan Rodriguez, but she should fucking know better. She is in a vampire party. Come on.
Yeah. And she's a smoking hot chick at a vampire
she's
party.
Seen what they're capable of. It's not like she hasn't seen them. She knows what these vampires will do. So
does she though? Does she?
I thought she was there for the aftermath of the van stuff, wasn't she?
No,
I
don't think she was.
Okay, then but beyond, wasn't she under the it wasn't the bubble thing where they were getting it on in the bubble? Wasn't that vampire poison?
That's after this.
No, that was the potion, the lust potion from.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Okay, but still, like Harry's told her but just to get some story, it's just she shouldn't be there.
Yeah, from her I know she shouldn't be, but like in her slight defense, she is like a journalist of like a magazine in Chicago that reports on the things that go bump in the night. And so like she has never seen anything to this level because it's kept
so that's what makes it work, right? Is we all know she shouldn't be there. She probably knows she shouldn't be there. But the draw to get the story, because it's such a big story, and she is a journalist that's ultra dedicated, is too much of a pull for her she ignores the known danger to go get the story. So it works. It works, but we all know and she probably even knows should not be there.
Right, but it's also enhanced too because the end of the last book gave her a story that put her on the map in that kind of arena.
That's right, and that was her biggest.
So like this would even take her credibility level up even higher. So I mean, she's on a roll right now. So she's got that bug.
Right.
Yeah, and that'd been the biggest moment of her career. So like the Loop Guru, like that was a whole nother level. Like that's where the first time she saw anything real in the world. So before that point,
it's easy for us to be here going she shouldn't be there, but I get why she's there, right?
Yeah,
it works. It works for the story, and everything is logically correct, right? It's could be the biggest story ever, and of course she's gonna go for it, even though she knows she's put herself in a fucking ton of danger. Like she's come packing all kinds of stuff in her little picnic basket, right? So,
she's come with it. She's got a. That's right. She's brought.
Yeah, she's come with treats for anybody. So she knows, and she's willingly done it. But still, she doesn't know how bad a position she put Harry in. I think is
right.
And how could she? How could she know? She couldn't.
Right. Well, and she doesn't know because it's more than vampires. Because at this point in time too, Leah shows up.
Yep.
And she starts exerting her force on Harry, who's weakened because he broke his bond with Leah, or not bond, but
broke his oath.
Broke his oath.
He broke his word. And for a wizard, that's really dangerous. Yeah.
Yep. And so then she ends up bargaining on Harry's behalf, and and Harry can't do anything about this. And so what she ends up doing is she bargains a year of her memories away for her to release Harry. And so but at this point the memories that she takes is everything that's happened in the past year.
Well,
I
think Harry. It's just Harry though.
It's just Harry.
She just takes the memory of
Harry.
She's aware of everything else, but she just takes all the memories of Harry away from her.
Because she remembers, because he tries to get her to because she remembers having, she remembers having the invitation that she got, that she forged or whatever.
Yeah.
But she doesn't remember how she knew how to do it. Yeah, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, she doesn't. So it's even more evil because it's not just clean slate wipe. She purposely takes all of the memories of Harry away from her.
Yeah, and again, from her perspective, from Lee's perspective, this is the best thing for Harry. Like this is only going to cause him problems, so I'm going to get rid of this girl.
True. Yeah. So, so is this? So from there we get the gift giving, right?
Well, from there we get them. From there, as soon as Harry gets back to his faculties, like, we've got to get Susan the fuck out of here. And she doesn't know who he is or whatever.
Yeah.
They manage to convince her that you need to leave. Right? And then as they go to do that, they encounter Mavra. Is that his?
Yep.
Mavra, yeah. The Black Court.
Well, hasn't Thomas now moved his way over to Harry and been like...
He makes his way over about now.
Yeah.
Is it before or after Mavra?
No,
it's about the same time.
It's around the same time, but it's before though, because then they go to get her.
Because Thomas has inched his way over to be next to Harry and be like, "Hey, I know I don't know you, but dude,
We're on the same team.
Yeah,
today.
we're on the same team right now. I know you don't, it's basically I know you don't like me. I don't know you, but like I'll have your back if you have mine because I'm pretty sure Bianca wants to kill me. Right? So it's like so. And then Mavra shows up, who is I guess the biggest black court bitch out there. Is she the biggest, or is she just one?
Yeah, she is
No,
the
she's
biggest.
I think she's
So
like
the Black Court. So
one
also
of
the
very
backstory is the
few.
Black Court is all but wiped out. They're the
Mhm.
worst of the worst when it comes to the vampires. They just fucking suck.
Yeah,
And
the
they've been almost completely wiped out by. I think Michael was involved in that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was involved in that. And
Yeah.
they talk about that. Harry mentions it. I think like this is like the OG, the OG the OG Dracula vampire type thing that got some really bad press. And Bram Stoker's story. Bram Stoker's story.
Dracula was probably a
like,
Black Court vampire, right?
Yeah, and Bram Stoker's story has caused the people to figure out how a lot of the myths and
and it's very cool. The same
how to
sort of
kill 'em.
way with the werewolves is some of the myths are real, some of them are not.
Yeah,
So
that's
I feel like that's very cool.
It is really cool, well intertwined or whatever. And as it turns out, that's exactly what's in Susan's handbasket because of the Bram Stoker stories of this is how you kill vampires.
She's got garlic. I think she got garlic, holy water. Does she have silver? I don't know if she has silver. Crosses.
Yeah.
So so she
Harry noticed. Yeah, she came prepared. And as they're trying to get out of here too, Marva says you're not going anywhere to Harry, and this is when he puts it together because the power that she uses is the cold power, the same stuff that's injected into the back of the ghost.
So he knew. So he knew. Correct me if I'm wrong. He knew that. Did he know that Marva was a sorceress?
No, not until this.
Right. So it's revealed, and Harry figures out that Marva is not just a sorceress, but a very powerful sorceress. And he's teaching Bianca.
He knows that Bianca is increased her skills somehow in sorcery. That he knows that she's now a sorceress and that her skills gone up, and now he knows how.
Yeah, because he discovers that Mavra is not only alive but powerful,
super powerful. Yeah.
So it makes sense where Bianca is now learning how to be, to use her power, right? So, Mavra, of course, blah, 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 does her Mavra things. Mavra is one of those things. She is where we have a lot of characters, like Laura Wraith, and some of the other ones. There's Nicodemus later. Villains that are bad, but you sort of like them, right? I mean, they're bad, but you enjoy them. Mavra is no. Mavra is there to be a bitch, and she's the bad guy that is there to just hate. There's no redeeming stuff. You hate Mavra. You don't really like Nicodemus, but you do because he's cool. He's a bad guy. He needs to go down, but he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's cool. Mavra is just. She's cool in her bad way because she's bad. You get what I mean. She's just a bad. She's no redeeming qualities for Mavra at all. She's just a bitch.
Nah.
Right.
Old crusty hag vampire, super powerful, absolute demon, needs to be staked.
Yep, she gets a go. So this is when we get the announcement about the gifts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So which is very funny because it's something that permeates the whole series too. What Harry gets. His plot of land.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he gets she gives she announces that they're giving gifts to all their honored guests. So Mavra was called up. No, she calls Thomas up first.
Yeah,
right?
Thomas goes first. Yeah.
And Thomas is basically like, "Hey, hang on to Justine because she may kill me right now. I'm not sure."
Yeah.
So he goes up. I forget what she gives Thomas.
I can't remember either.
How is it that I didn't write this down?
Because
I'm not sure it was that important. I'm not sure it was that important.
What's not that important? The gifts?
What she gave Thomas. I think it just pissed him off. I don't
know if they reveal what they give Thomas. Tell me in the comments if they reveal I don't remember.
I don't
But I
remember.
don't think it was important. It was more just like he thought he was going to die, so he said, hold on to Justine. Please
Yep.
take care of her or help her get out of
Yeah.
here if she kills me.
Yeah.
Then
Justine takes the time to bargain for her, safety with Harry.
Yes, she does the handshake deal to team up.
Well,
Basically,
also, the reason Thomas comes over to Harry in the first place is because he already knows that this is a trap now. Like,
right.
because everyone's been dosed up with the vampire juice, so like it's that she
Also-
set this up.
Also, it is interesting, and another interesting level that Thomas was sent there by his father because Thomas's father knew that Bianca was probably going to make a move on whichever White Court vampire was there.
Yeah.
So that
Thomas
just
is
shows
a
you that
sacrificial lamb.
Thomas's father and the White Court don't really value Thomas as much as they should.
Correct.
So he's there as the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Sort of like Harry sort of is for the White
Sort of like
Council. Sort of. So while he's gone over to team up, God, Justine sort of shores that up by appealing to Harry's sense of chivalry and
Yep.
helping women, which is not a bad trait. Everybody wanting to help women is a good thing.
It's great.
So we go from Thomas and then is it the Lanchi? Is it Leo or is it Mavra next? I feel like it's Mavra first.
It's got to be Leah because Leah gives Amaraki, so it's got to be Leah first because.
Well, no, she's got to get the dagger first.
What
she gets the dagger from Mavra.
Bianca gives Harry the tombstone.
Well, but that's last, isn't it?
No, it's not last. Leah is the last, or
no, Mavra has to be last because she gets them Arakius, right?
Mavra's last, yes.
Yeah, I thought Harry was last. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Okay, so Harry whatever. It doesn't matter. The order doesn't really matter. So, well, it does with Leah and Mavra, but so
it does with Leah and Mavra, yeah.
So Thomas, and then we'll say Harry. She gives Harry this whole evil speech, gives him a tombstone and a plot of land that says, "Here lies Harry Dresden. He died doing what was right."
Yeah.
and the plot is right next to his mom's.
Yep.
And the funny thing is that tombstone shows up several times in this series, which I fucking love that some of these things show up throughout the series. It's great.
Yeah. Although I don't know that I've seen it again yet.
You will.
I know it will. It's on the cover of
actually brilliant when it shows back up. It's great.
It's amazing when it shows back up.
So then Mavra, so then the Nancy, I don't know. I get mixed up the order because she gives Amarakius
to Bianca.
To Bianca, and Bianca gives her a special dagger, which we find out later what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is, right, Nate?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he... No, I don't think he does.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he does yet, Steve.
No? Okay. So
I think you find out in that book that you're talking about before.
You're close, I think.
Yeah.
You're close.
I don't think you find out till Skin Game, to be honest. Like because...
Skin Game is a big motherfucking book, man. Oh, Skin Game is a good book.
I think I'm 5 away from that. 4. So anyway,
great book. But so she gets the dagger, so what is that? And she gives Bianca Amarakius. Then she gives Amarakius to Mavra, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Michael Carpenter is having a shit.
Well,
yeah, he's not like panicking. Now Michael's gotten hyper fixated. He's like, oh, all this time too. Like we have sort of forgot to mention, Michael is having a struggle with not his faith, but his place in the world. He thinks that God may have taken Amarakius because his watch is done.
Yeah.
It's time for Michael to retire. Taking Amarakius away in this manner was God's way of telling Michael that it's time for the sword to be wielded by somebody else. This is sort of the moment where Michael goes, maybe not. Here's my chance to get it back and set things right.
Not only that, but he has history with Mavra, right?
Yes.
doesn't it? Yeah, they have
Yeah,
like serious
yes.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
And he's just like,
plus, so
Michael's just like, this cannot stand. This is
Michael's
not.
well,
ready. He's ready to
Michael's ready
walk.
to go.
He
He's
is
ready to
ready
go. He's
well,
like,
to
oh,
walk. As soon as he sees
because
Amarakis, he is ready. Sorry, go
he's
ahead.
like, that's it.
because right at this point they bring out the one innocent, and Mavra turns to use Amarachius
To
Yeah.
destroy it permanently,
on,
right?
on the innocent, which would destroy the sword.
The innocent
Yeah.
is happens
And
to be Lydia from earlier.
yes, that's right. That's right. I forgot it was
Yeah,
Lydia.
that's where Lydia
Yeah.
plays into all this. She is the innocent that they are going to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because all of the puzzles start clicking together right after Harry puts it together. He puts the. It's
all
cool how he
together.
does it because Harry gets it, and you're like, well, what the fuck is he getting? Like, and you sort of understand a little bit, but then he locks it in for you just in case you weren't sure, right? So the puzzle pieces fit together. Everybody knows what happened and what was going on, at least mostly because there's still a little bit left, right? The whole Kravos thing is still sort of. I don't think have we confirmed that Kravos is alive at that or Kravos is what he is
Nope.
at that point. We still think it's the demon at that
Yep.
point,
He
right?
Right.
thinks
Yeah,
still
he
thinks
still calls.
still thinks it's the demon.
Yeah. So then they all have a dance party. Oh wait, it's not
Yeah.
Wheel of Time season 3. My bad.
They're breakdance fighting.
Yeah, no, then it kicks off. So then Harry just look at immediately, it's just like, okay, this is where it's go time.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, and then fucking so I forget exactly because doesn't Harry end up just nuking the room?
At the end of it, yeah. Yeah, because the whole place burns down pretty much. Yeah, because like first Mavra's disarmed, Bianca ends up getting Justine and forces Thomas to give up, and then and in the process of him giving up, he kicks Susan into the vampires,
That's right.
and
Yeah. It all goes
that's where we see consequence happen,
it all
or
goes
start to
dark.
happen.
Yeah. He loses Susan. He
Yeah.
does he burn this?
This shit.
He does. I'm just trying to think of
He
how.
says para fuego.
But like I don't did he get a portion of his strength back? That's why I
No,
don't like
because the massive ones at the when he at the final
He
when
delves
he
deep.
goes,
He just
yeah, when he rescues Susan, the that's when he gets his power back. When he does the massive, he burns
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
So this is not quite as.
Yeah, that's when he meets up with the nightmare / Kravos again,
okay.
and gets him back basically.
Is he wait, but okay, so he just okay, everybody's still alive at this point. It's later when he nukes the whole place and kills all the kids.
Later when he,
All the
yes,
unknown whether they're vampires or not. It's
I think it's
guess
both.
innocents, maybe. I mean,
I think
like later on he kills he's having a conscious problem later because he's not sure if he killed any innocents in his explosion, right?
Well, that's as a result of what he does now with the Parafuego, and
yeah, he
just
sets everything up.
because
Well, that's why I'm asking. Like, is it just he just like? I mean, I'm trying to think what that would look like if he wasn't half powered.
well, I think this is something that he kind of gets from the depths, real deep down. I don't recall exactly, but he just
Well,
he
I'm trying to remember because there's two of these fights, right? So like it's tricky to like pass out which one is where he does well because he uses all the souls in the next fight, right? In the next fight with Bianca, he uses all the souls of the souls of the people that have like been sacrificed in this disgusting thing. And here he like delves down. I can't recall it exactly, Nathan, but yeah, it involves a lot of fire, and he kills he kills a bunch of people. And like Michael tells him those people you did them a favor, but Harry just can't see it that way.
I think it's just the fact that I honestly think it's just Harry is so fucking mad rage is a great conductor of it's dangerous. Like strong emotions fuel strong magic. So I think he was just so mad he was able to overcome some. I'm just saying it probably been even bigger if he wasn't
If
gimped a
you
little.
didn't have, yeah, well, he's gimped a fair bit too, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the one
That,
thing that maybe it's a little bit convenient.
that's
It's
why
really
I was
cool.
just shocked it was such a big explosion because he's supposed to be half powered. So I'm sort of
Yeah.
thinking what would it look like if he wasn't half powered when he did it,
Yeah.
It
right?
would have
But,
been
he was really
everything.
mad. He just got triple double crossed. Justine is fleeing. Thomas kicks Susan into a group of vampires and she's gone. So he's got a lot of rage pent up. But yeah,
Yep.
so that's why I was getting confused a little bit. So
Yeah.
so let's see here. So
Yeah, they escape, but Leah's outside. They escape because Leah helps them
yep.
get out.
Yeah, Leah
and-
clears the pathway through the
yeah, through the fire.
Yep.
smoke. Yeah.
And then what? It takes about a day or so for Dresden to regain consciousness, and Lydia's with him. Michael saves Lydia, and let's see here.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Mike-
Thomas comes. That's right. Thomas comes back and brings with him a certain item to show good faith with Dresden and with Michael.
Yep.
And he gives them back Amarachius, which
Thomas
I was
comes
like,
back with the sword. Yeah.
it's like,
Which is pretty.
yeah. So it was great. So Michael
Oh,
Carver
we've got to mention.
Amarachius again. Sorry, go ahead.
He does. We've got before we move on. We've got to mention that the entire masquerade ball was set up by Bianca as with the intention of making Harry break faith of the unseelie, to break the unseelie cords so they could start the war. Like that was the pretense for what she set it up for, right?
Right.
And that fed into part of his rage as well. I think like he'd been used. He just figured out as well that he'd been used as a pawn in 15 different ways to put him in this position, and he just was not having it. And I think that's where that rage came from. Yeah.
I think that I think that's fair enough. But yeah, so
Yeah. But here then Lydia ends up being inhabited by the nightmare.
she's asleep.
And like it's this super strength. She pins Harry down. And he starts puzzling the pieces together on how to defeat the nightmare. And then Thomas starts
They let
acting-
that's it. She's asleep. So when they get back to Harry's house, right? And they let her go to sleep.
Yep.
And that's she gets possessed that way.
Yeah. Right. And then Thomas starts getting all silly with her and she gets tempted, and that's how they end up getting the nightmare away and getting her awake.
Yeah.
Save Harry.
Thomas uses his sex charm.
Yep.
To
Thomas uses his sexy time to free her, which she was very happy about. But
right, and that
but
allows Harry to exorcise Kravos
right
out of her.
Right,
and I think this is when he kind of realizes. I think Kravos is the nightmare.
This is when he realized. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is when he puts together this Kravos and not the demon.
Yeah, I think that's
so Kravos with a lot of help. Kravos was getting help from Bianca and Mavra to do the things he was doing. So that's when they decide to do. They don't have time. They make this decision that they're going to go back in and get Susan and Justine through the Never Never. Bob is going to lead them to a back door to Bianca's palace through the Never Never, because that sounds like a good idea.
It's a great idea. What a fantastic idea. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
So from there they make their portal, they go through the Never Never. They're booking it towards of course I forgot how long the trip was. It was a while. Longer than Harry wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're getting close.
catches him.
Yeah, they're getting close, and Leah ends up catching him because she senses that Harry's there, so catches him. And then I forgot exactly what. So she.
He eats a mushroom.
Oh, that's right.
He
He
eats
has
mushroom.
a poisonous mushroom, and he kills himself. So he eats the mushroom, which is part of his plan, anyways. Basically, because later he wants to die, to for the cheating part. But he eats the mushroom, and Leah's like, "Why would you do that?" It's like, "Well, I'm gonna die, so I'd rather be dead than be your slave. So if you really want me, you gotta let me go."
Right. Well,
Right?
but and the thing is that Michael has the antidote, and so he offers the antidote for Leah in exchange for leaving Harry alone. So he negotiates Harry's freedom on this, and then so she makes the deal, and then they continue on to the manor.
And then she double crosses him. She says I would leave you alone. I didn't say anything about all my fucking minions.
Yep.
So you can start hearing them all coming after him, and Thomas and Michael hold the line and stay back to try and give Harry time to go do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
That's basically the last you see of those two to the end. But
Yeah.
Right.
And then
you can only imagine they spilled some blood out there. So
yeah, but the portal into the manor is weak, and it's weak for a reason.
Yeah, and Bob's trying to tell him, but Harry's like, "I don't have time. We've got to go."
Yep.
Bob's trying to tell him that something's weird about it, but he goes through the portal, and of course,
Yep.
it's a trap. She's expecting him.
Yep.
Yep.
And gets thrown in prison with Susan with Justine, and then you find out a half-turned vampire, Susan. You find out that Susan hasn't fed yet, so she hasn't really become. She's still Susan. She's
So
just
that's how the Red Court vampires work, right? So like once they've been turned, they're turned by the vampires, and then it's not until they take their first victim that the transformation is complete. So she's in the half state, right? And they put her starving in the cells with Justine and Harry.
Yeah.
right.
And Harry's been out for a while, but they haven't been able to feed on him because he ate that damn mushroom, and so his blood is infected.
He's got corrupted blood, so it saved his life.
I know, right? He unintentionally protected himself from the vampires too.
Yeah.
And then that's when he finds Susan, and you're at this point you're just like reading it, and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
bad.
It's heavy.
You're ready for bad things to happen. Absolutely. So, so she's pretty much about to eat him, and he's able to snap her out of it by telling her that that he loves her.
So, yeah.
Yep.
And that love conquers all.
Tear.
And and they declare their love for each other.
It was beautiful. It really was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was.
It was a beautiful scene. Yeah.
Especially because it's so tragic because of what happens later. But so they declare their love for each other, and it basically breaks the spell on her. It's able to. She gets her faculties back. She's still having to fight it. She's having trouble fighting it, but she's able to fight it because of the power she's been given. Through Harry.
And she's starting to get those memories back because
of the vampire.
That.
Well, that I think because I assumed it was partially because she's a vampire, so she's healing from some of the sort of the same way that
I thought Harry's spell here broke that.
Is that what? Okay, so that I didn't understand it that way, but you guys both say that's what happened, so that's fine with me. I'm good with that.
I think Harry took it back.
The power of love, man. There you go.
We lose in the news, baby.
And then so Justine's crazy. and
Yeah, Justine's sex starved, so she's gone nuts. She's
yeah,
like
she's
completely
going
nuts.
fucking
Yeah.
bonkers. And what? So what? They formulated a
time.
plan. Is that the nightmare? That is the nightmare fight in
No,
there.
no,
Nightmare
this
time.
is the nightmare fight. So Harry goes to sleep, right?
Yep.
Well, they formulate the plan and don't tell us, and he goes to sleep, and
Yes.
yeah, and they have the night. Cravo shows up and starts basically monologuing and torturing Harry, and somewhere in there he dies, and
Kravos kills him in the
Yeah.
dream. Yep.
right. So he kills
Right.
him in the dream, so he dies, and then you don't know what's happening outside, but Susan is doing CPR on him, and this was the plan all along for him to die, so he could get subconscious Harry to show up in the dream, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
correct.
And subconscious Harry is not worried about. He is full powered Harry, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
So
Well,
full powered
they
subconscious
he
Harry,
basically shreds Kravos,
right?
and that gives him his power back.
Wait,
Hey,
doesn't he eat him?
Is it subconscious Harry here? Or is it the ghost? I think it's Harry's ghost actually.
Ghost.
It's
I'm
not
sorry,
Harry's
Ghost Harry,
ghost.
not subconscious Harry, Ghost Harry. But they act very similar.
They do actually. They really do.
So
Yeah.
Ghost Harry, shreds, and they both share a meal of Kravos's heart.
Kravos.
Yeah.
And
So they
not only
eat.
does he steal his power back, he gets a portion of Kravos's power.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he takes. It's Kravos'
Big
ghost,
deal.
isn't it? It's not actually
Yes,
Kravos.
yes, it's
Kravos'
Kravos's ghost.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but he still
eats
gets a
Kravos'
portion of his
ghost.
power. Yeah,
Yeah, he does. Well, he gets all of it, doesn't he? 'Cause
yeah.
they eat
No,
it.
I think he consumes his soul, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
He's gone. Kravos is Dunsky.
yeah,
Yep.
big time.
And then
Yeah.
Susan wakes him back up or whatever. Brings him back to life,
Yep.
and he comes back to life, and he's fully powered. And this is fucking baller shit. From here on in, it's ball. Like it's
Right.
Harry's just like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Harry goes full ham. Yep.
Full ham.
Harry's
And you've
power
got
level previous two books was nothing on this one. I mean, it just
Nah.
it upped.
Yeah, he's got this like, and we've been with him on this journey where he's ended up in the worst possible spot in the worst possible circumstances with his vampire girlfriend that's about to eat him or
Yep.
whatever. He's just powered himself up to the max, and he just
So
he's gonna,
I have a question for you guys.
It's gonna be hard.
Does he? I don't remember. Does he retain Kravos's power now throughout the series, or does he lose it?
I don't
know.
think it's ever mentioned again.
So
it?
I think this was a never, because he seems more powerful from this point forward. So I think he actually keeps it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
personally,
he probably does.
I think it's just kind of one of those things like it's
he
it's a
consumed
part
it.
of him,
It's
like
his
some of-
now, right?
right. Some of the other stuff that he's picked up along the way since this book, you kind of see where he's kind of just building
Yeah.
up levels.
Well, I just yeah.
the
So
stuff
well, I
that
just feel like
discovered in Small Favor.
yeah.
It was like, holy crap.
Well, I just feel like he consumed it, and his power level stayed up from there. So my understanding was just he just consumed it, and he became his, and that was a boost in his power.
Yeah, it doesn't ever really talk about after this book like the differences in the power. So like it's just fully integrated into what his power matrix, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he gradually, if it was said whether he gradually lost it or what, but I like the idea that he held on to that shit. So
I think so.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, so from here
From here we leave the cell and we start, and he goes to find Bianca.
Servitas.
He's just he goes to find Bianca.
Yeah.
Kyle tries to pin him. It doesn't work because Harry's pissed off and Susan's also pissed off. So,
Yeah.
And she's strong. Like these young vampires, they're super, super strong. Yeah.
Right. And so like it's just a scene of absolute carnage. Like he burns both Kyle and Kelly to cinders.
Mm.
And then he finds his stuff. So he finds Bob. No one thought anything about Bob.
Yeah, which is lucky, right? Very
Right.
lucky.
Yes.
But Susan disappears, and then he finds out Bianca has her upstairs, and he just laughs.
Yeah, exactly. Like she called, so Bianca can like call with something else that we find out can like they control their vassals or whoever they turn, they can call them to them at any stage or whatever. So
Yeah.
big mistake, Bianca.
The fact that he's laughing, it's like, oh shit.
And when he gets there, and he has to, there's a moment where he just like puts his staff on the ground when he opens the door or whatever. When he gets to where Bianca is, whatever, when he enters and he just puts his staff on the ground, and it's just, I mean, it would be amazing TV, right? When Harry gets into that room, the way that it's described, and it's like he's just there for carnage. It's gonna be, and you just it like
everybody, like there's all sorts of humans there, and they all have guns, and they fire, and he's just kind of like, nope. He's like the Matrix.
He is. It's like, it's not happening. Fucking get out of the way.
So they all drop their guns and run away. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I'm not messing with this.
It's such a good scene. And then, like, and this is where Bianca's plan comes to full fruition, right? She's got the Duke Ortega, whatever, is here to adjudicate, to witness the breaking of the accords or whatever. Bianca wants satisfaction for Harry killing her people unjustifiably or whatever, like whatever way she puts, and she makes like legally speaking, like she makes a case. And Harry's just like, you're all gonna fucking die, mate. That's it. Well, let go of my girl. If that's what he says, when he says, let go of my girlfriend, it's like,
right. Well, because that's part of the deal. She's like, listen, if you don't want a war, that's fine. Then you can get out of here.
You just have to let me have it.
Susan.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh hell no.
It's like, fucking get your hands off my girl.
Right.
Yeah.
So it ends up being war because he rejects it. And then we see him unleash holy hell on shit.
Well, Bianca thinks she's got a chance here, right? Because she thinks she's pretty strong or whatever, and she throws down, and Harry just he just destroys the entire place, doesn't he? He just burns everything to a cinder, doesn't he?
Yeah, he draws a circle around himself. He wakes the spirits of the dead, all the court victims.
He exploits the thin barrier that they created. He exploits it and uses it against them. Yeah,
he drags all the ghosts of all the people that she's like mistreated in this place.
All the ghosts that hate the Red Court because they sucked them dry and killed them. He calls them up and they fucking go crazy on all the vampires.
Yeah, and they're dragging away everything into the depths of the inferno that he immolates. Around the place. And then Rachel's ghost, the one that Harry killed last book, I think, right?
It was book 1, I think. I think it was. I swear it was Stormfront.
Yeah, it was. So Rachel's ghost ends up saving Susan, so she gets out. And then, or no, she saves Susan from Bianca, pulls her away, and then Susan and Justine rescue Harry as the house collapses. So Harry's destroyed 2 places in chapters.
Well, that's what Harry does, right?
Yeah,
that's what Harry does, and including one of the high lords of the Red Court, Duke Ortega. Right.
Say that again now.
Does he kill the Duke here?
No, Ortega. No, he's a Chichen Itza or whatever.
No, isn't that his wife? Isn't that
No,
why his wife
Ortega.
goes?
Ortega is. I don't think Ortega dies here.
I can't remember.
Well, but no, because the
No, it's not. Duke Ortega doesn't die here. It's just Bianca that dies here, isn't it?
I don't.
I thought it
I
was
can't.
just.
I don't want to. I don't. I don't want to give away any spoilers. I thought he did. I thought he did die.
I don't think here. No, Paulo
I thought Harry.
Ortega. It could be.
I
No,
thought
he's
Harry.
in. I'm pretty sure he's in Death Mask too. It looks like.
Oh, maybe he comes back.
Yeah, he. Well, maybe, hold on. Yeah, he's. Yeah, he channeled. Yeah, he channeled in Death Mask. Which book is Death Mask? I always forget.
Oh yeah.
Five.
Yeah, so he comes and challenges Harry to a duel. Yeah.
Okay, so he survives. So he's that. So he survives
Right.
then. So he's the reason that the. So he reports back to start the.
Yeah,
To
to
kick
start
off
the
the
war.
war.
Yeah, he kicks off
Yeah.
the war.
Masks is Wrigley Field, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
fight?
yeah.
Yeah. Death Mask. Yeah, that's a good one too. So yeah. So then so that's it. And Bianca is dead, and Susan is a vampire, and Justine is free. Michael has Amarachius back, and then we get the short aftermath of things is basically Harry's been trying to get a hold of Susan. Well, Murphy ends up being okay. Everybody that was being controlled ends up being fine. Little Harry, they named the baby after Harry. Little Harry is fine and in a handful. And
Imagine the conversation. Imagine the conversation between Michael and Charity.
yeah, right.
Right.
Michael obviously won the argument, so
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
She ends up just fine with it. But so you find out Harry has been trying to contact Susan, and Susan's been basically ignoring him. And he ends up tracking her down later, and they tell each other they love him again, but they can't see each other again because she doesn't want to kill him. Doesn't want to kill him and turn into a vampire, and she can't control herself. So it inevitably happens. So
yeah, she ends up rejecting his proposal.
Yep. He tried. Yeah, he proposes, and she says no because she knows she won't be able to control herself around him. So tragic ending, consequences to actions, and hell of a book. Hell of a book.
Hell of a book. And Harry blames himself for all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think it's definitely the best out of the first three. I think things just start
100%.
rolling from here. I think he just sort of Marsder's actually his voice acting just hits another level, even though it was always good. But just the writing and just the stakes, just always, the power levels of everything keep rising, which is what I like. Is Harry isn't gimped, so he's not too powerful. As Harry gets more powerful, as the enemy gets more powerful, because he's sort of getting promoted. Like the more stronger he gets, the more he can affect higher planes of magic, sort of deal, right?
Yeah.
So like this one, yeah, I don't know if we're rating these, I probably like. I don't know. Fucking 9 Susan Ortegas out of 10. I don't know. It's pretty good.
9 out of 10.
Pretty big one. This is an 8, maybe 8. I'm trying to think where the other ones will go. 8. We'll go 8. This is a really good book. This is a really good book.
You did 7 and 6, I think, if I remember right.
I think I said 5. I think I said 5 because I'm leaving a room. This is, of course, the Dresden scale. This isn't just this is different comparing Dresden. That are all very good books. So me saying a 5 doesn't mean it's. I thought it was a 5 book. I think it's a 5 in the Dresden world. So
which is in the bell curve of Dresden.
Yeah, so I'd say an 8. 8 for 8 out of 10 for me. For Grave Peril, I think. On the Dresden scale. So what do you guys think?
Well, I've got a bonkers grading scale anyway that doesn't make any sense. So I'm going with 8 Amarachius blades out of 9 red court balls.
There you go. Very
I've,
good.
I've, if I had the first book at 7 Bob's romance novels out of 10.
Yeah.
I had the second book at 6 Bob's romance novels out of 10. And this is the best book so far. This has to be about a 7.5 Bob's romance novels out of 10
I think that's fair.
on my Dresden scale. Yeah.
Yep. It's hard. It's hard because I'm trying to think of my favorite and go from there. But I know Skin Game and Battlegrounds are going to be tough. They're going to be
that's
up
what
there. Yeah, they're going to be up there. So
it's real tough. It changes,
yeah.
bro. Changes and
there's
Turncoat
so
are
many.
both,
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
they are both 15
So
out of 10
small
books.
favor.
Yeah. It's they're all fantastic. I love them all.
Yes, they
So
are.
it's been enjoyable reading them again. So it's yeah. So just yeah. Not better the second time around. It's nice when you can read a book series the second time and it's better the second time, which it's always nice. So, but yeah. So, any parting words, gentlemen, until we move on to Summer Night?
That's it, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next one. Like I'm doing these basically like 2 at a time now because I'm going in my own personal progression through the series and following up with these rereads, and man, it's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I know you're almost done with Summer Night, aren't you, Altan?
Yeah,
So
I
you
already
gotta catch
started.
up.
I couldn't help myself. I started to, after Carl, I had to put something on, and I started the next Sun Eater book, but the audio, the narrator just sucks. So I'm gonna buy that book, and so I just couldn't help myself. Like, it's got to be dressed.
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah, I went back to Summer Night.
Well, I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna get reading it here shortly, and hopefully we won't be back after too long to go over book 4. But I hope you enjoyed us talking a lot about Grave Peril. Lots of good stuff to say about it. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, well, first, if you haven't read it, how have you gotten this far in the video? But second, go read it if you haven't read it. It's great. So and read all the Dresdens. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
So
Reading them is definitely better than listening to us knobs talk about it.
True, but don't not watch us. I need the views. So so
right.
What's that? Yeah. Well,
Ladies.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hope you're subscribed, and if you're not, please do. And we will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.
See ya.
Fuego!